Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to go over how sort of the computer stores and manages information and folders and files, and also how to manage them using the user interface that we usually have here, and also in Visual Studio Code. So, uh, you know, on computers, one thing one thing good about computers is that they can store and organize files and folders for you. So I just have my File Explorer up here, and on Macs it might be a little different, but the concept should be pretty similar. On the side I can scroll and see where my files and folders are stored. So for example, if I go into my C drive, I will be able to see a lot of folders, and there's a text document here, and I can navigate into all of these, and then I can go to code, for example, and these are all folders, and I've organized them this way. And you can organize them however you want, right? So the File Explorer and the computer is great at storing these files and folders, and you can do whatever you want to them. But back in the days, um, people did not used to have this convenient graphical user interface where you can just double click on these, where you're able to see all these really quickly, and then you're able to just double click on the folder and then just go in there like that. Um, and you're not able to like right click or anything and see all these options. And so back in those days, they use what's called a terminal, and we'll do a little bit of that right now. And let's see. So if you go into Start, or maybe you could just click on the search bar, and then you could type in Visual Studio Code, and then this should come up. So it should tell you that it's an app, and so you could left click on that. So now there's a bunch of things in here, right? So I can just close this for now, go into Terminal, click on New Terminal. Now my terminal will show up. So what do you guys think about this, right? Like, what does this mean? What does that look like? So this looks like the folder that I'm currently in, and it depends on where you open your VS Code, or like where the default is, um, but it is usually set to where you opened, where you navigated to last. So let me sort of clarify that. And to make things a little easier, I'm going to drag on like the top bar of this, where there's where these three buttons. I'm going to hold down left uh, mouse button and then drag it all the way to over here, so that until you see this gray box appearing that takes up half of the screen. So I can release and let it go, and then I'm able to choose which window that I want to appear here. So I can click on Visual Studio Code, and now so I have these two side by side, and that'll be easier for all of us. So right now I'm in this folder called CISC 106, which if I click here, now I'll be in the same folder as the terminal. So let's see. So really, this just represents which folder that I'm in. So the last thing that appears is the folder that I'm in, and then you can sort of trace back the location of the folder by going in this path. So for example, it tells me I'm in C drive first, right? So I go to C drive, and then the next folder is me, so I go to me, and the next folder is code, so I go to code. The next folder is Mesa, and then lastly CISC 106, so I click here, and now on the File Explorer, or in the File Explorer, I'll see a folder named test-1. And so how do I see that here, right? So the terminal, in simple terms, is a way to sort of navigate around or work with the computer back in the days when they didn't have a graphical interface. And that's sort of hard to imagine, right? It's you're just working with text and you're storing folders and files that way. That's like almost unimaginable right now. Yeah. So let's do some exercises and sort of see how we can achieve um, the same things in the terminal. So let's do this. So first, let's enter ls. So ls is short for list, or like listing the contents of this folder or directory. So if I press enter, right? That's not it. Here, let me do some things. Okay, there we go. Let me try that again. Okay, so if you type in ls, my screen is not big enough, so it didn't show the name test1 here above, but it did show it here. But basically what ls does is it lists the contents of that folder. And so you have, you see the name test-1, which is exactly what we see here. And here there's a D, so that D stands for directory or folder. So there is this folder named test1 inside CSE 106. That's perfect, right? So now what if we want to see what is inside test-1, right? So if I go here, I say test-1, I double click on it, I'll see a draw file, which is really draw.py. And so let me go into test1. So the way you do this is cd. So cd stands for change directory. And you want to give it a name of the directory that you want to change to. So in that case, we just say test-1, press enter, and now see how the directory path that directory path here, how it's updated. So now it's the test1 folder under CSE 106. And now let's do the ls again so we can list the contents of the test-1 directory. Press ls, enter, and now here's draw.py, right? So this is how you sort of navigate around your computer system with the terminal. And if you want to sort of go back up a folder, so let's say I want to go back to CSE 106 again, what you would do is you would type in cd space and then two dots. So these two dots basically just mean, okay, I'm going to go back up a folder. And once you do that, you'll see that the path gets updated. So now I'm back in CSE 106. So just a quiz for you guys. How do I list the contents of this folder? And that would be using ls, right? So ls, and then I get the same thing again. Now let's go back up one folder. So what would I do? I would say cd space dot. So now I'm back in the Mesa folder, which we've never seen here in the terminal, but let's check that out. So let's do ls, and we see that in Mesa there's only this folder called CSE 106, and we can check that. So go back to CSE 106, then go back to Mesa, and indeed in Mesa I only see CSE 106 here. So this is sort of how you navigate the computer system and work with the system and your terminal. Now there are a bunch of other things that we're going to talk about in the next few videos, so stay tuned for those.